Hello, beautiful Earth with all you human beings. Today, I would like to talk about being a little joyful, and even though we are conscious and we are awake in everyday life, in this hustle and bustle and all the stress and different distractions we might have in this world. Especially now in the weekend times, you can feel that people have relaxed a little more, come more to a culmination, to a climax in a sense. And over the day and over the evening, over the night to Sunday, you will feel that it is a resting day. Everything stands still more or less, and it is recuperation, it is rest. And then on Monday, I will just put a feeling to it. And on Monday, we wake up early in the morning and everything starts again, and we will have to go to do that and go do that, do our duties, do what we must do, and so on. The reality of everything is, the moment is always here, and of course, the human beings are the whole of mankind, the whole of the earth, we are affecting by being a huge mass of people focusing and doing more or less the same things, are pushing and pulling, and we are all feeling it inside of us. Everyone is doing it, either consciously or subconsciously. But we are still affected by it. But by breathing, enjoying, sitting still in our own body, being comfortable enough in our own body, in this moment, you can feel all the forces working upon us. And by becoming aware of it, we can make them more harmonious. We haven't incarnated to become comfortable and become lazy and just fly the day away, even at work. We are meant to stay active and studious and wondrous and explore, even unto an old age. Of course, in the earlier years, in our childhood, we are building our own bodies to reach a certain maturity, so that we can begin to learn from our past karma too. And so that we can take more control and guide our life in the direction we ourselves want. Not where we are pushed and pulled and demanded to be put, and we want you there because that is the right thing. But who said it was the right thing? Who has slowed down for a moment and asked ourselves, what is the important thing here? I have found out for myself that the important thing for a human being is to experience ourselves as human beings, as real spiritual beings on this planet Earth that we are so fond of, and that we should really bring a new harmony, a new co-creation with nature and with the earth, instead of destroying it, taken as an example. And by becoming more aware and awake to the moment and such, we can begin to use our imagination. You will have to use your imagination at first with your will to build up different concepts and immerse yourself in spiritual science. And every single individual have to do this for themselves. But spiritual science is the key, anthroposophy. And by immersing yourself in it for a long while without being affected by culture and politics and bad news and being distracted by all your family and friends and work and everything, and be able to focus here in the moment, you can harmonize all the forces so that you can become a more effective and a more whole human being. We are so much more than just physical flesh and DNA and inheritance. When we reach a certain age, inheritance have only lessons in them, but what we choose to do with them and how we choose to further ourselves, what we choose today, what we choose is each moment is what is of importance, not dwelling in the past and trying to prove to ourselves that we are how we are because of the past. We won't find any solution in the past. Only by trying to find the solution here and now, and by doing the best out of what we have, we can live a more enjoyable life. And enjoyable does not mean, as I said, comfortable. Enjoyable means a curious life, an adventurous life, a life full of vigor, full of courage, and full of spirit. Everything pops out at you alive. This we have to train ourselves to do. But we need to have the interest in it. The interest has to be there. And some people are lucky to get grace from the divine by experiencing directly. Maybe more than once. And hence becomes so anchored in the truth that we can speak with surety. We know what we talk about, and even though people disagree, we can still find something to agree with. We can find through the heart, we can find an understanding through the soul. It doesn't need to be based on intellect alone. There are many ways to connect, and if we want to connect, we can connect. But if we want to disagree with each other, we can disagree with each other. Everything is based in our intention. We can't blame anything other than ourselves if we disagree with something. That means we are giving it both our energy, focus, and time when we can choose to better ourselves in other areas of life. Instead of trying to find in the past better ways to govern ourselves and govern our politics and our systems, we can find new ways right here and now that is more fitting to a true human being based on how we live, how each and every one of us is individual and have different needs and different deepenings and levels of spirit. And by coming to that understanding and by being that objective and including a living cosmos inside of us when we think of the world, and not thinking of it as something abstract and some conclusion we came to just because we read the news or something. By having a true picture, a true living picture of the world and the different forces that are guiding us, that are over us and giving different impulses to different countries and people. All of us have different roles to play as part and participants of countries. But the age of countries and tribes and such are a dying age. We are reaching a new age where it becomes more global. We are human beings after all. What does it matter if you are from England or from Afghanistan or from Germany, United States, Russia? Doesn't matter. We are all human beings. And we are so much more important than we are trying to prove ourselves otherwise of. If nothing else, be the best we can be from day to day and acknowledge that we do have our faults. We all have our faults. It is just a matter of how much do you shun them and hate them and tuck them away and hide them, or how much do you get to acknowledge them, get to know them, and integrate them in your personality so they becomes more of a healing force than they are small problems and things you are getting nervous about daily. It is fully possible, but you have to reach a certain form of understanding of yourself and how you operate within this world. Me, for example, I feel most healthy, most lively, most giving to the world, most productive, doing more work every day by having the freedom to choose what I can do. But I also must put in the will to do the work to you need to reach a certain satisfaction with yourself. When you know you're doing enough work, you are satisfied after you have done the work for the day. And then we are coming down to slow down and then to sleep and come back and do work again, do our duty. And our duty is to live life, to explore life. It is not only just studying and only being a scholar and such. It is also enjoying, exploring. And then when we have enjoyed and explored and we feel it is enough because it's moderation, then we can contemplate and study life again to balance out these things, to not become too childish and not become too stuck up. To stay in that middle balance in the heart and be loving both ways, both explorative, creative, but also organized and having a little control. Even in the most chaotic of times, even in the midst of, you are the eye of the hurricane, you still can stay in yourself and in your body, stable in your body, even in the worst of times, even when you are deathly afraid. You're still here because you so want to live that I rather stay here in the body so that I can at least have a heightened chance of survival, taken as an example. This was just like being in the jungle and seeing a wild animal or something, just the worst situation, but I digress. And yeah, that is what life is about. It is about growth. But as growth also grows, it also ebbs away. But as things ebbs away in age or in body, as an example, our spirit blooms out and everything becomes more clear in our inner and our spiritual world, our thinking, feeling, and willing. That's what the maturing is doing. And I am still young and still formable, still moldable to a much higher degree than when I'm becoming older. But as long as I always stay this active, it becomes easier for me all the way, because we are using time and energy on this. And then you can start with just a few moments a day, and after a certain while it grows on you, and all of a sudden this is your preference. To stay in this world, to stay in where we are responsible for creating together. Thanks everyone. This is what I had to say today. May the divine in Christ, in Godhead, and our ancestors, and all of the beautiful beings around us, and us, of course. Guide everyone on a path that is more loving and earthly love, real love, spiritual earthly love. Goodbye, love you all. Doo-doo.